someone tell me when to start? Or? Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are on the traditional lands referred to as Treaty 6 territory, and that the City of Edmonton and all the people here are beneficiaries of the Peace and Friendship Treaty. Treaty 6 territory is a traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route to the Cree, Saulteaux, Blackfoot, Métis, Dene, and Nakota Sioux people. Bentaro Traditional Healing Society is dedicated to ensuring that the spirit of the Treaty 6 is honored and respected and followed. We at Bentaro Traditional Healing Society are pleased to host Minister Cyril Turton, Minister of Children and Family Services, and welcome everyone here in attendance today. The Bentaro Traditional Healing Society was established in 1994 with a commitment to building upon the strengths of Aboriginal children, youth, and families so they can walk proudly in both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal communities. Our founders strongly believed that keeping culture at the center of everything we do is crucial to mental, emotional, and spiritual growth and physical well-being. With the knowledge, we provide programming that promote healing, resiliency, and cultural connectedness. Over the 30 years, the Society has been serving urban Indigenous communities in Edmonton. Our scope has widened and our goals have changed. Our programs are open to all people in need of community who wish to be supported through an Indigenous worldview that is holistic and incorporates knowledge and ceremony. Our founders also believe that the important work we do requires collaboration and partnership. We have developed strong partnerships along the way to be able to provide many programs that include community outreach, employment resources, and our Nagay Housing First initiative. And of course, the reason you're all here today, our Kokosowin Family Resource Network. Through our partnership with the Alberta government, the Kokosowin Family Resource Network here at Bentaro offers support services and programming for children, youth, and families that aim to strengthen caregiver capacity, support healthy child development and well-being, and increase social supports and connections. I'd like to now welcome Minister Turton to the podium to tell you more about the family resource networks across the province.
Well, thank you so much, Shirley, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as our government reaffirms its commitment to strengthening the well-being and resiliency of children, youth, and families for many years to come. First of all, I just want to recognize Elder Tom Snow for starting us off with a beautiful blessing this morning. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the hard work and efforts of Bentaro's Executive Director, Cheryl Whiskey-Jack, who is an amazing advocate for children and families in Edmonton and a huge supporter of this vitally important program. I also want to thank the wonderful folks here at Bentaro for giving me a tour of this amazing facility here this morning. Now, this is not the first time I've been here, but every time I visit the Kokosowin Hub, I'm struck by how warm and inviting this facility is. And that's exactly what we wanted Family Resource Networks to be when our government started the program back in 2020. Safe havens where families can gather and grow together. We realized that there were so many fantastic community organizations across Alberta offering guidance and supports to foster healthy families, from parenting classes to support groups to on-site mental health services, as well as childhood development and mentorship programs for children and youth. But there was no easy way for these organizations to coordinate their services or pass on knowledge and skills to each other so that they could serve families better. The Family Resource Network program was our solution, ensuring children, youth, and families can have more consistent and coordinated access to prevention and early intervention services regardless of where they live. In other words, families facing big challenges can get help early, reducing the number of children who come into government care, and families who require child intervention services. When we designed this program, We're thinking of the young expectant mother in northern rural Alberta who feels isolated from her peers and wants guidance and a helping hand to help her take on the huge responsibilities she has in front of her. And the parents in Okotoks who may live far away from family and are looking for a way to meet and find camaraderie and support from other young parents, as well as Indigenous families right here in Edmonton who are searching for a place like Bantaro where they can connect to their culture and community. 4 years later, I'm proud to say we have over 70 networks across Alberta that bring together services from over 100 different agencies. Half of these serve rural communities, and 18 are specifically targeted to unique cultural and linguistic communities, including the Francophone, multicultural, and Indigenous communities, both on and off reserve. This means accessing community services and much needed supports is easier than ever to be able to access in every corner of the province. Our government has had high hopes for this program. We want to make sure that we got it right. We launched an external evaluation 3 years ago so that we could learn what was working and what could be improved within the program. And I'm thrilled to share that the data backs up what we've been hearing on the ground, that family resource networks are having a positive impact on families and communities. And because of that, I'm so pleased to announce that through Budget 2024, Alberta's government is extending the Family Resource Networks program and providing an additional $6.6 million over the next 2 years. We're building on our previous investments to strengthen our networks in 3 key areas. The first area focuses on ensuring Indigenous children and families have access to culturally appropriate supports and services wherever they are. Secondly, we're making sure networks have the training and capacity to respond to the needs of LGBTQS+ and gender diverse children and youth. Our third focus is all about enhancing intensive services to meet the rising demand for these supports. Like our friends at Bantaro and the other networks across the province, we're committed to helping Albertan families stay healthy and stay together. Strong communities depend on strong families, and I'm confident that these additional investments will help thousands of young people, their parents, and caregivers reach their full potential. To our family resource networks, all of us at Children and Family Services are so fortunate to have incredible partners like you to make this all possible. My staff and I will continue to support you so that you can focus on what matters most, supporting children, youth, and families' well-being and resiliency, and helping Albertans become the best parents they can possibly be. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Turton. This is good news for our community and family resource networks across Alberta. I'd now like to welcome Murray Knutson, our Deputy Director here at Bantaro, to the podium.
Thank you, Shirley. Hello, everyone. I'm pleased to be here representing Bantaro today, where our elders, program staff, service providers, and volunteers give their best to make a positive impact on the lives of Indigenous children, youth, families, and community. We're grateful for Alberta's government recognizing the importance of supporting the well-being of families and children, and continuing on a path of meaningful reconciliation where each and every Indigenous person has the same access to crucial services as any other Albertan, while ensuring the interests of Indigenous children are protected. We believe in the importance of family and providing for all family members to grow together. In Cree, Kokoswin means the act of being with a family. As an Indigenous family resource network, the Kokoswin Hub provides services focused on 3 key areas: child and development and well-being, caregiver capacity, buildings, and social connections and supports. We offer distinct programming for parents and children up to the age of 17. This includes group and one-on-one supports to help parents achieve their goals of becoming the best caregivers they can be. We provide resources and opportunities for children and their families to make community connections by participating in activities that support growth and development in a fun, interactive environment. And we help families build supportive networks while working on personal goals and plans that will help strengthen their relationships and their families. Of note, our Dad's Engagement and Men's Support Group provides a supportive space for men to engage in meaningful conversations and activities that promote personal growth, family bonding, and community involvement. And we also have a youth engagement service that provides safe and welcoming environments for young people to make peer connections, build positive relationships, and prepare for successful futures. Our emphasis on Indigenous culture and content in our service delivery works to provide relevant supports for the people who are receiving them, making it more likely that they'll continue to access our services and complete programs. Not only will today's investment ensure that we are able to continue making these important cultural connections with families, but it'll also allow us to work with more parents, supporting them to increase their capacity and serve Indigenous communities in a culturally relevant, authentic, and sincere way. In other family resource, on behalf of our members, I'd like to thank Minister Turton for recognizing the positive impact programs offered through the Family Resource Networks have on the youth and families, as well as the commitment to coming here today and learning. Thank you. Forgive me. We look forward to continuing to work together, providing safe and supportive environments for families to grow. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming today to hear about the continued investment in the family resource networks in Alberta.
All right, well, we'll now open things up for a quick Q&A. Reporters will be able to ask one question, one follow-up. Please state your name and outlet. And we'll begin by taking questions from the floor first.
This is for Minister Turton. This is Daniel Barker Tremblay with Wind Speaker Radio Network for CFWE at 89.3 The Raven. Minister Turton, with this announcement that you have made here within Bandera, I have to ask, in terms of, with the act of being with the family, have you sat down with the Grand Chief of Treaty 6 First Nations, as well as the other chiefs and the M&A president, to sit down with them to go over these programs with Bandera present, to keep the children within the families?
So I have met with many First Nations leaders, and since I've been appointed as minister, and look forward to any ongoing conversations that First Nations leaders may wish to have regarding the ongoing evolution as we transfer children and family services over to the respective First Nations. So we already have an obligation to consult and work with First Nations communities on many aspects of child intervention services, and I know I'm going to be meeting with one Treaty 8 council and nation here in about an hour and a half, actually, at the legislature. So my door is always wide open, but we've been very eager to continue to have those conversations as we can move down a path towards reconciliation with Indigenous leaders and communities around the province of Alberta.
And as Minister, this is for my follow-up, as Minister, what are you hoping for that these programs will provide, and what are you hoping for as far as an outcome goes after this has been installed?
Well, it's a great question, and with the announcement today, it really comes down to strengthening families. I want to make sure that children continue to have those cultural connections with the respective First Nations. To me, it's extremely important, and as I've been traveling around the province, since being appointed as Minister of Children and Family Services in June, that has come across loud and clear from families, from children, that they want to make sure that those cultural connections are supported. And that's why this announcement today is so important, because we're investing in capacity building for the FRN announcement to allow FRNs around the province to continue to build upon those cultural connections so that we can ensure that our children are looked after.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hi, Minister. Danny Parody, APTN. My question is about the $6.6 million. You mentioned that goes towards capacity building. What does the money go towards? Is it infrastructure? Is it programs? What's the breakdown?
Well, as I've been traveling around the province, it was really critical with my conversations that I've been having to ensure that all Albertans continue to receive the access to FRNs. They can feel connected. And so from my conversations with FRNs, as well as other cultural communities, I really felt it was important for this added investment, again, to increase the capacity of FRNs to be able to offer those culturally relevant services, especially to Indigenous youth and also gender diverse youth as well. So we want to make sure that our FRNs continue to be open, inclusive, and I really think this added investment is really going to help us in that regard.
So that is programs then? And
So we're going to have those conversations with FRNs about in terms of exactly how it will look like. So it could be everything from perhaps specific specialists and FRNs to programs to, I'm really open to having that conversation with what works out best for the individual FRNs to meet the needs of their respective communities.
And how many people or children have been helped? What did you find in your external review?
Oh, I could easily find it. So Ashley can get you the exact number for how many children and families actually access FRNs. It's quite considerable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And we will now take questions from the phones. Operator, put through the first caller.
The first question is from Janet Prince, CBC. Please go ahead.
Hi there. Minister, you mentioned that these FRNs are preventing children from ending up in government care. What evidence do you have that this program specifically is preventing children from ending up in government care?
Well, no, thank you very much for the question. So I think this is really one of the key strategies as a government that we have regarding prevention, improving family outcomes when it comes to mental health resiliency, just really empowering families and children. The fact that the programs continue to grow and the positive effects that we've been able to see and how families' lives have been improved. For many families across the province, if you don't know where to go for support, an FRN is typically the first place you go. And so that has been shown just with the increasing numbers of families that have been accessing these programs. And it is our hope and goal that as we continue to help provide supports for families around the province, that yes, it can actually lead to declines in children actually entering care later on.
Okay, my follow-up is a bit more practical. Can you explain to me how this additional money is going to be distributed? Is it going to be through grants that these agencies or the networks have to apply for, or is it just a blanket increase across the board that each network gets?
Well, it will be a blanket increase across the entire network. We want to have those conversations with FRN specifically on the specific programs that they may need to address the needs that families in the respective areas are looking for. So again, that's something or a part of the conversation that we're going to be having over the next couple months as I continue to travel around the province. Again, looking for additional ways that we can help support families here in Alberta.
Operator, could you put through the next caller?
There's no other callers in queue.
Great. That concludes our press conference for today. Thank you for everyone for being here.